The most important cold call objection to know how to handle is send me an email. I'm going to share with you the 3 different word-for-word responses that I have found to be successful overcoming this objection and going on to set the meeting based on making 70,000 cold calls. And then I'm going to talk about the buyer psychology. Why would they tell you, send me an email? I know why. And then if you stick around until the very end, I'm going to share with you the book I'm reading right now that I really like and I think you'll enjoy. The reason why send me an email is the most important cold call objection to know how to handle is because if we as the sellers concede to the prospect's request of actually ending the phone conversation at that point in time, when we've worked so hard to prospect the account, to find that prospect, to send them emails, to calls, to do that for weeks, we finally get them on the phone, 10% answer rate, probably less, and then we just agree, yeah, I'll send you an email. We will go on to waste 5 to 10 minutes of our precious time crafting an exquisitely perfect customized email that will not lead to success over 90% of the time. More oftentimes than not, the prospect will never actually open it. And on top of all this, we will then go on to waste many more hours of our precious time persistently following up and thinking, if only they took my meeting, I would be more successful. Let's talk about the 3 word-for-word responses that you can use to handle, overcome, and actually use this objection to your advantage to go on to set the meeting. The first word-for-word response you can use is the following. I am happy to send you an email. Is trentdressel@gmail.com still the best email to reach you? Great. Now, can you help me understand what caught your interest based on what I shared today so that I can customize the email to actually be worth your time to review it? Let's break down this response. Anytime you are greeted with an objection by the prospect, you always want to agree with them. So if they ask you, send me an email, I always say, yes, I'd love to send you an email. Is xyz@.com the best email to reach you? I then like to confirm I have the correct email on file because sometimes you're actually sending emails to the wrong email, and you also want to confirm with them and get them to say yes. So once you tell them, yes, I'll send you an email, hey, is this the best email to reach you? They tell you yes, you're just in a better position. And then depending on how that conversation has gone to that point, if you've had the chance to get into your value proposition and share more about your cold call talk track and how your company can help, then I would ask them point blank, all right, I'm glad to send you an email. What caught your attention for you to ask me to send you an email? I'd love to send you an email, but I want to make sure it's worth your time to actually review. Can you help me understand what you want to learn more about? We're going to get into the psychology later into this video, but more oftentimes than not, they are not interested, but they are not interested. They just don't want to deal with you right now. So it's polite and it's nice of them just to say, hey, can you send me an email? And it's sort of just a socially agreed upon way to end the conversation. When you use this response, most likely you will be met with, you've caught them in a corner and they didn't actually hear anything that was interesting enough for it to merit them actually reviewing an email. It's sort of just a brush off, them trying to get you off the phone. So I actually would not advise you using this talk track, but in some instances, it can be a good fit. Let's move on to the second word-for-word response. I'm happy to send you an email. Is trentdressel@gmail.com still the best email to reach you? Great. I don't want to waste your time sending a high-touch email if it's not worth your time to take it serious. The reason I believe we can help you is because XYZ, because we're going to increase your win rates, generate more pipeline than ever. Would you be opposed to meeting for an introductory meeting after you've had the chance to review the email? All right, let's break this down. So we're following a similar approach where we are validating, yes, I'd love to send you an email. You're agreeing with their objection. You're confirming you have the best email to reach them on file. And then you're calling out the elephant in the room. Your concern is you don't want to waste their time and you don't want to waste your time. And you know, based on making many cold calls, that when you actually send the follow-up email and in the cold call at that point, nothing is going to happen the majority of the time. So you call this out. Look, I don't want to waste your time. I also don't want to waste my time putting together this amazing email if you're not even going to read it. Double down on the reason why you think you can help. The reason why I called you originally is because you oversee human resources and we help with payroll, helping you achieve these business outcomes. If I can send you some additional information on these topics, would that be worth your time to set up an introductory meeting? So you're basically doubling down on the value and then your call to action. So you're actually using the email objection to your advantage to try and swing a meeting from it. And I'd say 60% of the time, you're going to get met with another objection. So you got to be ready for that. But in some instances, they will say, actually, yeah, we are looking at that. Okay, I'll take your meeting. And that is a win. That is best case scenario, the response you can use. The final word for word talk track you can use to respond, it's something I like to do. Not everyone feels comfortable doing it, but here it is. I'm happy to send you an email. Is XYZ still the best email to reach you? Great. You're seeing a trend here. Can I send you a tentative placeholder for later this week? And if you don't like what you see in the email, you can decline the invite. If you feel even more compelled to want to meet with me after learning more with the email I send you, I think this meeting will be a great opportunity to review industry trends, talk about your program, and allow me to share more about how we can help. How does that sound? So what you're actually doing, you're agreeing to send them the email because you can't disregard the email. If you just disregard it, then you've already disqualified yourself. So you always have to validate you hear them and you agree, I will send you an email, but I want to do it on my terms. Look, I'm going to send you a calendar invite because I want to meet with you. And after you've had the chance to review the email, if you still don't feel like this is a good use of your time, then you can decline the invite. But if you think it's interesting, because I think it's going to be interesting, I'd like to actually have our meeting, and this is what I hope to discuss. This does not work every time. And this could lead to even more wasted time because what you now will do is you'll put even more energy and effort into that email to make it as good as possible. But at least you'll be sending that calendar invite and give yourself a chance to have that meeting. They may decline it, but I think that that's a good way to turn it around. And in summary, those are 3 specific responses you can use whenever you hear the send me an email objection. Now let's talk about the buyer prospect psychology. Why would they actually ask you to send them an email? And I think I know why. This is a brush off objection, as we talked about. In most cases, they are not interested, but they're not interested right now. They just don't want to deal with you right now at this very moment. Fair. I mean, how do you blame them? They've got stuff going on. They don't want to experience the discomfort of telling you no directly to your face. It's like when you say yes to something you're not fully committed to, you often regret it later on because you did not want to disappoint the other person. Biologically, we are programmed as humans to be part of the tribe. So whenever you are disagreeable, whenever you are not necessarily going with the flow, you're at risk of being voted out of the tribe. And if you're not in the tribe, your chances of survival go down. So this is why it's so uncomfortable, not only for you to be rejected, but for someone else to reject you. Have you ever put yourself in the prospect's shoes and considered, well, what must they be going through by telling me no over the phone? Think about that. You may have said something interesting enough for the prospect to actually want to review more information, but they are not yet convinced a meeting is worth their time. Fair. In summary, we just reviewed the psychology behind why the prospect will greet you with the objection, just send me an email. I think the main takeaway is empathy. Put yourself in the prospect's shoes for a moment. I think we're also worried as sales reps that we need to set the meeting, we need to be successful, we need to avoid getting fired, we need to avoid the performance plan, we need to make as much money as possible. We got to set 3 meetings a week, so I need you to agree to my meeting. Put yourself in the prospect's shoes. They may have 25 unopened emails. Their company may have just done layoffs. They may have to leave work early for some family obligation. Their boss may not be happy with them. Their boss may have just left. They have a time crunch on a project. They've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Give them some grace. Treat yourself with grace. And all we can do is keep calling because happy pipeline, happy life. Today we talked about the 3 different responses you can use to overcome and actually set meetings when you get the objection. Send me an email, the buyer psychology, why they use this objection. And then, as I promised, the book I'm reading right now is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. I just completed the section talking about wealth. I'm now on the section talking about judgment, and it's a great book. So I'd highly recommend it. And I'd also recommend, if you found value in today's video, to hit the thumbs up button on the video now so other reps can benefit from this information. And if you are reading any books at the moment, I'd love to hear which ones you're reading in the comments below.